Shalom again. And as always, shalom means hello, and it means peace. And I hope you're having a lot of peace in your life right now. Through the years, people have wondered, how is the great revival in the end of days, according to Scripture, going to take place? There's all kinds of theories. We've got premillennial theories, we've got postmillennial theories, we've got amillennial theories, and these are couched in theology. And I want to talk about the last days a little bit, just a little bit with you, and to tell you the key factor in bringing about the coming of the Messiah and the culmination of all things. Now, of the major signs in Scripture of the last days, we certainly have the gospel being spread abroad through all the world. We have the increasing evil in the world. We have extra phenomenal events in the heavens and the earth. And these are the major issues, signs of the last days. But there's one more that people neglect, and I would like to point out that scripture and a number of scriptures to your attention. One of the scriptures comes from Romans 11, chapter 15. And Romans 11, chapter 15, I'm going to read it in a way that I don't believe, but this is the major way in which this is taken. For if their rejection, that is to say, God's rejection of Israel, means the reconciliation of the world, then what will be their acceptance, that is by God, but life from the dead for Israel? Okay, so this scripture is taken to mean that Israel was rejected, but they will be accepted when they come to faith again, and that will make them alive. And I want to point out that the grammar, Greek grammar, is not satisfied with that interpretation. The Greek grammar is only satisfied, as David Stern has translated it, that only if Israel is the subject and not the object here does it make sense. And I'll read it again. For if Israel's rejection of Yeshua, that's what it really means that the world comes into friendship with God, reconciliation with God, what will be Israel's acceptance of Yeshua but life from the dead for the world, not for Israel, for the world? So you see the parallelism here? If their rejection of Yeshua is a little life for the world, then what will their acceptance of Yeshua at large be but a tremendous revival of life for the earth? Yeshua said it this way in Matthew 23 when he's talking about his return. He said, "You will not see me again. You, the Jewish people, will not see me again until you say, Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." Now this is a scripture taken from the Hallel, Psalm 118. The Hallel really is Psalm 113 through 18. But in 118 you have this messianic theme of celebrating the King of Israel by saying, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." And you know in the Gospels, of course, this was already applied to Yeshua by the common people. Yeshua says, "I will not come back until you proclaim me the Messiah." So we see that the quantifiable signs of the last days are all spurious except when it comes to the revival of the Jewish people. How do we know when the gospel is spread to the whole world? Does it mean every people group? Does it mean every continent? What does it mean? How do we know when evil is enough, when it's grown enough? How do we know when the signs of the heavens and the earth are enough? How do we know? But when millions of Jewish people come to faith in Yeshua the Messiah, we will know that his coming is imminent and that the world will blossom into revival. The world will not blossom into revival until Israel blossoms into revival. That's what the scripture teaches. I hope this has been helpful to you. And again, as always, if there are comments or questions, I would ask that you would post them on the web, and we will get to them in some of these video clips. Shalom.